that China's Belt and Road Initiative is an absolute infrastructure first, vis-a-vis the opinion that rules governing multilateral trade needs to be deepened. What is your answer to that question first?
Yes, my argument is not such, actually, for two reasons. First, the result that it seems like just like an infrastructure first strategy. Actually, it's not a strategy. The result is a market choice because infrastructure is desperately needed in the region and the world as well. China happens to be the most competitive one to offer low cost and high standard, high quality infrastructure. Second, China gave same importance to the 5 pillars as mentioned. Regarding trade agreement alone here, China actually firmly believes that the multilateral trading system, the WTO, is still most important for the world trade to develop. But at the same time, China also believes deep trade integration will harmonize rules of investment and trade that will deliver inclusive growth and narrow the competitiveness gap between large and small firms. Market actually never run in a vacuum, but in the midst of different rules. The key is that what rules we should have. Your rules, my rules, or our rules. I think this is the key. That's why we need to negotiate how to trade under the common rules. That's my explanation to the...
Yeah. I would just like to ask the rest of the panel, any comments on what she said? Agree or disagree? Mr. Caporia?
Being in this for the last, since the Cancun ministerial, I've attended most of that, and also I've been recently part of the RCEP, which is ASEAN plus 6, which includes China, India, Australia, Japan, and New Zealand. Now, the aspect, what is seemingly becoming very important is standards. Now, standards, and my colleague who's from China who's just made a point. China has very different standards. It's very difficult. It is actually a non-tariff barrier. Not non-tariff barrier to trade. So if you have hardware issues, you don't have any of the Facebooks or the Amazons or the. It's an enterprise, and please take it in a right spirit, in the way that we see it. From a very different view, that if you want to export hardware, it's impossible. We have tried exporting a lot of stuff. We've not really been able to achieve much success, including an acquisition of a SOE. So there's a larger issue in terms of global integration of trade and regional sets. If you have a trade imbalance which is going to be totally unsustainable, whether it's with a developing nation or a developed nation, so somewhere that issue needs an addressal. I mean, why are we seeing what we are seeing today? Why are we seeing this in trade? Primarily because the aspect of short-term political goals are not being met, whether they are of job creation, whether they are for issues of trade imbalances. I mean, why is this modernization of NAFTA happening, for that matter? Now, these are some very critical but crucial issues, besides, of course, the food subsidies, etc., which are going to be in the 11th ministerial, which is just coming on. I hope it resolves. Development agenda is out of the door. The developed nations have made sure that DDA is, primarily gone. So there are challenges of the multilateral issues. Thus, it is necessary, like what has been said, that we need regional cooperations. That's necessary. But the regional cooperations have to be equitable. And equitability is the key of saying that the countries don't subsidize in a way that are hidden subsidies in some way.
Yeah, I got your point.
So primarily...
No, don't worry. No need to feel sorry about disagreeing here, because I host...
I just want to generate, the other side of the coin.
No worry. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's necessary. That's why I asked your opinion. And basically every day, whenever we talk about China-India relations, this kind of discussion will come up. I'm quite used to that, and I was expecting that. But again, Professor Zhu, do you want to address that, or shall we leave that for people to consider, to think about? But really briefly, please. Yeah, and other people, if you have anything to add, please. Yeah.
I just want
briefly,
to,
please.
How the regional trade will be shaped in the future. Actually, in my eyes, it will be shaped mainly by two forces. One is the trend or the direction of globalization. How will this trend go? Fortunately, the China proposed BRI is quite an open initiative for cooperation, and therefore this is not a concern for this region's direction. And the other force is, just as Mr. D mentioned, is technological force. And the technological force in this regard will just help facilitate regional trade. Actually, in the future, maybe trade from west to east or between west to east will be more replaced by regional trade due to this technological progress.
Okay.
Thank you.